You know what I mean? That's the type of drivers I appreciate. But there's other drivers like, look, this guy not even looking. Look, he'll hit me. Look, you see how close he came? Damn, they don't play around here. They definitely play chicken with you. You know, they'll test you. Sometimes you just gotta bully your way in here, you know? It's kind of like Yemen in a sense. That's the good thing about Beijing, you know? Like Beijing drivers and Yemen drivers, there are some similarities, you know? And look at this guy, just comes right into my lane, does not signal, so close, you know? Like imagine if I was just like going faster than what I'm going now. Man, it is so hot today. You can just see the pollution in the air. You can't even see the sky actually, but you can see the underwear building right in front of me, the CCTV building. Usually I would make this right and go to work, but I like going straight. It's a tiny bit, it's like an L shape. It's a tiny bit faster. That way I'll have to go through some small roads. Oh, a Honda, that's really nice. He had a mounted exhaust on there too. Really nice. Some of these scooters, man, look really cool too. Like those scooters can zip, man. Those scooters can pick up some speed. Every time I see some of those scooters, I kind of want to. They just look cool, you know, the colors and it just doesn't really appeal to me when I see like the big empty space right there in front of where their feet lie. It's super comfortable though, I'll admit. Just going through the daily grind and counting the days here as my time is running out in China. And I'm glad I didn't, you know, part of me is glad that I didn't have a motorcycle in my early days, you know? Because I feel like now that I'm calm and I'm more mature in China, that I have a better head on my I don't know what I'm trying to say. I always try to use fancy analogies when I speak, but it always comes out totally wrong. But now that I'm more aware about that, I'm more aware about my surroundings in Beijing, and I understand a lot more about the culture. I have a more of a calmer head, if that makes sense. Is that what I want to say? Calmer head here in Beijing, and I have a better understanding of the Chinese culture and the Chinese people and their tendencies. So I had a good year to settle in and study and soak all the information in and really build a solid foundation in terms of, you know, where my awareness lies. So it's cool. It's really, really cool. Man, I wanted to make this right, but I should have been I should have been there, but I can't. I'm not thinking sometimes, man. This is really, really cool. I've never seen this in my entire life until I came to Beijing. I have no clue how that even works. I tried Wikipediaing it and looking what it means, but it still doesn't make sense to me. Like, is it running? Like, is that bus operating through the electricity? And like the bus can move and it'll stay. I'm just confused. Like the bus can move and those things will just move with it. It's so cool, I think. And so I don't think, it's my understanding, I don't think it runs on gas. It just runs through the power. That's really, really cool, actually. There's a lot in Beijing like that, actually. But I think it's kind of like an older technology. I don't think it's considered a new technology. I think it's just an older technology that they're still using. Might be easier. This red light and green light is broken, I think. I think I'm going the wrong way. Again. No, I'm going the right way, I think. I can never tell here in Beijing. Everything looks the same to me, you know? It's a beautiful place. I wish I could read Chinese. I don't know what that is. I forget what the heck I was talking about. Yeah, just counting the days here. It's definitely, I keep saying that, keep using the phrase of bittersweet moment. Beijing is really, really cool, man. Beijing is really, really cool. I mean, if you ever decide that, I guess I could just talk a little bit about living in Beijing and what to deal with. I mean, if you can handle like the air pollution, I know you might be thinking to yourself, well, Dave, they're only on certain days when the air pollution gets to you. But you never know how you're going to react to it until you're here. I mean, everyone's different in terms of like their noses. Like everyone's nose is different. Like during the winter, my nose would not stop running. It was the most annoying thing. And I never have problems with my nose. I never have problems with congestion or stuffiness or allergies. None of that. I'm really, really clean, you know? Like I have no problem with that at all. Never in my entire life. But when I came to Beijing and I started freaking inhaling this crap, I was going crazy. It was bad. It was bad. And I was thinking to myself, like, what? So I think that's one thing, air. If you can handle the air pollution, then you don't care. I mean, you gotta like take precautions. If you're gonna be here long term, you definitely gotta take precautions because it's a real issue. I mean, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it at all. It's definitely a real issue. A lot of the students tell me, oh yeah, you know, this is actually how I know it's a real issue from a student told me his story in class once, because we had a one-on-one private class, and he mentioned something about you know, asked him if he had children or whatever, and he said that he had 4 miscarriages, and I was just like, what? Dude, yeah, that's sad, man. I felt really, really bad, you know. Then I felt bad asking that question, you know. But you know, he didn't mind talking about it. Actually, he said no, it's okay. And he said that there could be multiple problems on why his wife had 4 miscarriages. One was possibly the air quality. He said that himself. He said because of the air pollution. One, he said because it might be, and also because of the heavy amount of phone signals. And he also mentioned something about Wi-Fi. And I was like, dang, like that never even like. That would have never occurred to me, you know, to even think about. So that kind of like really, really surprised me. It really, really surprised me. And I was just like, man, I guess the air pollution here is definitely a serious issue. So if you decide to come here, definitely get yourself an air filter. You know, take all the necessary precautions. Do not take any risks. And you got to really monitor the air quality index, the AQI here. And don't use a Chinese website to monitor that. Make sure you're using a third-party organization that monitors the AQI here. And make sure you are wearing you know, surgical masks when you go out, and make sure that you're changing your surgical masks all the time, or you can get a real expensive one and change the air filters, you know. So yeah, that's air for you. You know, air is a commodity. Can I use that word? Air is definitely a commodity now. It's not you can't take it for granted here. You can't take it for granted anymore from wherever you live in your hometown. Wow, look at that Honda. That's a Honda CBR 600. What? That was nice. He had no helmet, no gear. He was just straight up killing it. But next to the air, I would have to say the amount of people. Obviously, if you're able, I don't know how well you are in terms of dealing with. I don't want to say personal space, but I mean, when you're on the subway and bus, you definitely do get, you know. Your personal space definitely does get invaded. So if you are social and you are comfortable with being around so many people, then sure, Beijing could be for you. If you're like average citizen like me, see. Look at these. I'm gonna go with the flow here and do what these people are doing. Like, what is this all about? I don't get that. Everyone's just coming here, hanging out in the middle of the intersection. That's so strange. I don't even get that. So the amount of people, the traffic here in Beijing, getting from point A to point B is extremely difficult. Extremely difficult. I'm just going with the flow, like a flock of bees, like a flock of birds, I should say, like a swarm of bees. Such insanity. Look at this. It's what day is it today? I don't know why. It's like usually when I come out, it's not. Usually when I go into work, it's like lunchtime and no one's out in the streets. But there's a lot of, I guess because there's a lot of food deliveries or whatever, and people are going out for their lunch breaks. But yeah, if you can deal with the amount of people, so we talked about air, we talked about people, and then the other thing was like convenience. Like it's super convenient, but at the same time it's super inconvenient, if that makes any sense. Like getting from point A to point B is so difficult. And let's say, like, think about a situation or a scenario like in your hometown. Like if you were to forget like your phone, or you forget like an extra battery at home or something, or a simple document, oh, I gotta run back home real quick and grab something, and that's fine. It takes you what, 20 minutes to go back home, grab it, and go back to wherever you were, because everything's in such a close vicinity and there's no traffic and it's simple and easy. Everyone has a car. I'm talking about small towns in America. But here it's like you forget something at home, man, your whole day is ruined. Like you might as well just forget it and just forget about it. So unless you're super smart and you don't have and you don't mind riding a bicycle, or you don't mind riding a scooter, or don't mind riding a bicycle or motorcycle or a scooter or an electric bicycle, you know, that's huge here. Like that's definitely the smarter way to go, especially if you come here alone and you have no family. You ought to, whichever one you want to use, you definitely should do that, because man, if you get an Uber, if you get a taxi or a Didi's like their version of Uber, you will not get, I mean, you're gonna run into traffic in Beijing at 1 o'clock in the morning or 1 o'clock in the afternoon. It does not matter. You're gonna run into traffic, and it's just because of the sheer amount of people that live here, you know. So yeah, that's another thing you can keep in mind, you know, convenience. It is convenient, but at the same time, yeah, it can be a little stressful, because especially if you're big on time and you're trying to be punctual, it's huge. Like now, like I work at 1 o'clock and I have a class at 1 o'clock too. Look at this guy coming right in. See, this bus is afraid, you know, this bus is beeping at the BMW, you know, because you know they know they just come and look, he's cheating already, you know, he's not signaling, he's just trying to cheat his way into lanes, you know, like just casually go into lanes, and he thinks it's not that big of a deal. But imagine if a motorcyclist was there, you know what I mean? Okay, well, at least this Mitsubishi Lancer was, you know, trying to be aware, looking into his mirror, signaling, and hesitated, you know, because he saw me. So yeah, just to finish off this moto vlog, let's go back to first. We talked about air, we talked about people, we talked about convenience. Yeah. So those are the in traffic, right? Yeah. And then on top of that, if you do decide to come to China for the first time, or Beijing for that matter, be prepared to, like, you know, get used to using chopsticks. And this is just basically really basic. This is really just basic information from my experience. You know, I'm mentioning to you the type of things I had to deal with. You'll get used to chopsticks really fast, though. I mean, the first 2 months is really frustrating, but I mean, if you already have that skill, then you have no problem. Adjusting to the food here is huge. Knowing where to go and just kind of learning your area is huge too, because it can be quite frustrating when you're really hungry, but you don't know Chinese and you don't know where to go to eat. That can be really frustrating. And when your hunger can definitely play a role into, you know, the amount of stress that you have. Another thing is I forgot to mention was air pollution. I mean, noise pollution. I should say. There's definitely noise pollution here. You know, like don't expect to go outside for a nice quiet walk in the park unless you go to a park. You know what I mean? But look, like for example here, it's super. Look at this bus. See, even the buses won't signal. I don't even know if their lights even work. See, I don't even signal, you know. Thank you guys. I hope I helped you out with some advice. Have a good one. See ya. Wouldn't wanna throwing LeBron James sixes up. See ya. Wouldn't wanna be ya.